Have you ever wondered what happens when Hollywood's most charming bachelor grows up? When the quintessential romantic comedy hero faces real-life tragedy, embraces fatherhood in his 50s, and navigates the challenges of aging in an industry obsessed with youth? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on Hugh Grant's life in 2025, as he approaches his 65th birthday with a story that's more complex, heartwarming, and surprising than any character he's ever played on screen. Picture this, it's 2025, and Hugh Grant, the man who once defined British awkwardness and romantic fumbling for a generation, is now a senior citizen. But don't let the number fool you. At 65, Grant has transformed himself in ways none of us could have predicted back when he was stuttering his way through 4 weddings and a funeral, or charming Julia Roberts in Notting Hill. His journey has been marked by incredible highs, devastating lows, and a reinvention that has left fans both shocked and inspired. Let's start with where it all began. Hugh John Mungo Grant was born on September 9, 1960, in London, England. His early career was marked by small roles and occasional work. But everything changed in 1994 with 4 weddings and a funeral. The film catapulted him to international stardom, earning him a Golden Globe and establishing him as Hollywood's go-to romantic leading man. Throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, Grant seemed to have it all: fame, fortune, and a reputation as one of Britain's most eligible bachelors. But behind the scenes, Grant's life was far more complicated than his on-screen persona suggested. In 1995, he was arrested in Los Angeles for soliciting sex from Divine Brown, an incident that could have ended his career. Instead, he appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and addressed the scandal with remarkable candor and self-deprecating humor. His honesty and willingness to poke fun at himself somehow made the public forgive him, and his career continued to thrive. Fast forward to 2025, and Grant is now 65 years old. The passage of time has been kinder to him than to many of his contemporaries. His once floppy hair has thinned and turned a distinguished silver gray. The laugh lines around his eyes have deepened, telling stories of a life lived fully. But his signature charm remains intact, perhaps even enhanced by the wisdom that comes with age. In interviews, he's more reflective, more willing to discuss his past mistakes, and more open about the changes he's undergone. Perhaps the most significant transformation in Grant's life has been his journey into fatherhood. For decades, he was vocal about his reluctance to marry or have children, once stating, "I don't have much of a feeling of responsibility about children. I don't have children of my own, and I don't think I ever will." How wrong he was. Today, Grant is the proud father of 5 children with 3 different women, a development that has shocked many who followed his career. His first child, Tabitha, was born in 2011 to Tinglin Hong, a Chinese actress and model. The birth was initially kept secret, with Grant later admitting he was thrilled but also terrified by the prospect of fatherhood. In 2012, Hong gave birth to their second child, a son named Felix. Then, in 2015, Grant had his third child, John, with Swedish television producer Anna Eberstein. The couple later had 2 more children together, and in 2018, Grant finally did something many thought he never would. He married Eberstein in a quiet ceremony in London. In recent interviews, Grant has spoken candidly about how fatherhood has changed him. "I was a selfish person for most of my life," he admitted in a 2023 interview. "Children force you to be less selfish. They force you to think about someone other than yourself every minute of every day. It's exhausting and wonderful, and the best thing that ever happened to me." This transformation from bachelor to devoted family man has been perhaps the most surprising aspect of Grant's later life, but Grant's journey hasn't been without tragedy. In 2020, he experienced a devastating loss when his mother, Finvola Grant, passed away after a long battle with cancer. Grant was incredibly close to his mother, once describing her as the most glamorous person I've ever known. Her death hit him hard, and he took a break from work to be with his family during this difficult time. In an emotional interview shortly after her passing, Grant revealed, "My mother was extraordinary. She was funny, she was brave, she was beautiful. She taught me everything I know about being a decent human being. Losing her has been the hardest thing I've ever experienced." This tragic loss marked a turning point for Grant, who became more reflective about his own mortality and the legacy he would leave behind. Another tragedy that deeply affected Grant was the death of his close friend and Notting Hill Emma Chambers, in 2018, who played the adorable Honey in the beloved romantic comedy, died suddenly at the age of 53. Grant paid tribute to his friend, saying, "Emma was a hilarious and warm-hearted person and obviously a tremendous actress. I will miss her very much." These losses have clearly shaped Grant's perspective in his later years, making him more appreciative of his relationships and more conscious of how precious life is. Now, let's talk about where this Hollywood icon calls home. In 2025, Hugh Grant divides his time between several impressive properties. His primary residence is a stunning townhouse in the upscale London neighborhood of Chelsea, purchased for approximately £18 million in 2020. The 6-bedroom property features beautiful period details, a private garden, and state-of-the-art security. The house has been featured in several architectural magazines, with critics praising Grant's tasteful renovation that preserved the building's historic character while adding modern luxuries. But Grant's property portfolio doesn't stop there. He also owns a charming farmhouse in the English countryside, located in the picturesque Cotswolds region. This 17th-century property, set on 12 acres of land, serves as a retreat from city life. Grant has spoken about how much he enjoys the peace and privacy of the countryside, where he can take long walks with his dogs and spend quality time with his children, away from the public eye. Additionally, Grant maintains a home in Los Angeles, a necessary base for his work in Hollywood. This sleek, modern property in the exclusive Brentwood neighborhood features panoramic views of the city, a swimming pool, and a home cinema. While Grant has often expressed his preference for London over LA, he acknowledges the practical necessity of maintaining a presence in both cities. When it comes to transportation, Grant has always been somewhat understated compared to other Hollywood stars. However, that doesn't mean he doesn't appreciate fine automobiles. His car collection in 2025 includes several impressive vehicles, though he tends to favor British makes. His daily driver is a Bentley Continental G, a car he describes as comfortable, reliable, and wonderfully British. For family outings, he opts for a Range Rover, praising its safety features and spaciousness. Grant also owns a classic Aston Martin DB6, a vintage beauty that he rarely drives but maintains as a collector's item. "I'm not really a car person," he admitted in a recent interview. "I appreciate fine engineering, but I've never been one to get terribly excited about automobiles. They're just a means to an end for me." This practical approach to luxury vehicles is characteristic of Grant's generally low-key attitude toward material possessions. Now, let's talk numbers. What is Hugh Grant's net worth in 2025? After decades in Hollywood, smart investments, and numerous successful films, Grant's fortune is estimated to be around $150 million. This impressive sum comes not just from his acting work but also from savvy real estate investments and production deals through his company. Simeon Films. Grant's earning power has remained surprisingly steady throughout his career. While he may not command the same per-film salary as in his 90s heyday, he continues to work regularly in both film and television. His recent role in the HBO series The Undoing, alongside Nicole Kidman, earned him critical acclaim and a substantial paycheck. Additionally, Grant has become more selective about his roles, often choosing parts that challenge him artistically rather than simply paying well. Financial experts note that Grant has been remarkably smart with his money, avoiding the lavish spending and poor investments that have plagued many of his contemporaries. Hugh has always been quite frugal for a Hollywood star, says entertainment financial analyst Rebecca Worth. He's made some excellent property investments over the years, and he's never been one to blow his money on flashy cars or extravagant parties. That financial discipline has really paid off. In 2025, Grant's lifestyle is a far cry from the wild bachelor days of his youth. He's described his current routine as domestic bliss, centered around his children and wife. "My days are pretty predictable now," he said with a laugh in a recent interview. "School runs, helping with homework, trying to keep the kids from destroying the house." It's not exactly the glamorous Hollywood lifestyle people might imagine, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Professionally, Grant has continued to evolve as an actor. While he'll always be remembered for his romantic comedy roles, he's increasingly taken on darker, more complex characters. His performance in the 2022 film Operation Fortune showcased a different side of his talent, and he's expressed interest in doing more behind-the-scenes work as a producer. "I'm at a point in my life where I don't need to work, but I want to," Grant explained. "I love the craft of acting, the challenge of bringing characters to life, but I'm much more selective now. I want to do work that means something, that challenges me, and that allows me to be home with my family as much as possible." This balance between professional fulfillment and family life seems to be the key to Grant's contentment in his later years. He's spoken openly about how his priorities have shifted dramatically since becoming a father. "I used to think my career was the most important thing in my life," he reflected. "Now I know better. My family is what matters. Everything else is just gravy." As Grant approaches his 65th birthday, he shows no signs of slowing down. He has several projects in development, both as an actor and producer, and continues to be one of Britain's most recognizable and beloved exports. Yet he remains remarkably grounded, often poking fun at his own aging and the absurdity of Hollywood. In a recent appearance on a talk show, the host commented on how well Grant was aging. "Well, I have excellent genes," Grant replied with his trademark self-deprecating humor, "and a very good surgeon. No, I'm kidding. Mostly good genes, I think, and I've finally stopped smoking, which probably helps. And drinking? Well, less drinking. Okay, moderately less drinking." This ability to laugh at himself, combined with his willingness to be vulnerable about his struggles and transformations, is perhaps why Grant has remained so popular with audiences for so many decades. He's not perfect, he's made mistakes, faced public scandals, and admitted to his own flaws. But he's also grown, changed, and evolved in ways that many people find relatable and inspiring. looking back on Hugh Grant's career and personal evolution, it's clear that his life in 2025 is vastly different from what anyone might have predicted when he first burst onto the international scene in the 1990s. The Bachelor has become a devoted family man. The romantic comedy hero has embraced more complex, darker roles. The young star has matured into a respected veteran of the industry. Through it all, Grant has maintained his essential Britishness, his wit, his self-deprecation, his refusal to take himself too seriously. These qualities have endeared him to audiences around the world and have helped him navigate the ups and downs of life in the public eye with remarkable grace. As we watch Hugh Grant at 60, we're not just seeing an aging Hollywood star. We're seeing a man who has reinvented himself multiple times, who has faced tragedy with resilience, who has embraced unexpected joys, and who continues to find meaning both in his work and in his personal life. His story is a reminder that it's never too late to change, to grow, and to find happiness in unexpected places. So here's to Hugh Grant at 65, still charming, still relevant, and still surprising us after all these years. Whether he's making us laugh on screen, navigating the challenges of fatherhood, or simply being his wonderfully awkward self in interviews, one thing is certain: Hugh Grant remains one of Hollywood's most enduring and beloved figures, a testament to the power of authenticity, growth, and never losing your sense of humor, no matter what life throws your way. Disclaimer: the content in this video is based on publicly available information, media sources, and opinions. It is created for entertainment and educational purposes only. We do not claim or guarantee that every detail is 100% accurate.